Hey guys, Corey here with a new scrapbook process video for you. So watch along and you can see what I'm doing, but I want to tell you how this page came about. So I keep a journal and sometimes I write memories in it. Sometimes I write feelings in it. Sometimes I write really practical things in it, like my cash budget for the pay period. But in it, I also have a couple pages where when I have a story idea for my scrapbook, I write it in there so I don't forget it because sometimes it's not like the right time to actually do the page, but I remember that it is something I definitely want to write down. So I had this little thing about my oldest, but I haven't had a picture of her. She's in college, and so it's not like I get a lot of pictures from her or of her. And so I was on Instagram one day and she had posted this one of herself after some snowfall, and I thought it was so cute. I texted her and was like, "Hey, can you send me that picture, off your Instagram page that you just posted?" And she was like, "Of course." And so she sent it to me, and then I asked her just to make sure because she's over 18 if it was okay for me to go ahead and post it, and she said, "Of course." So yay! Now I've got this cute little picture and I have a story about her that I wanted to scrapbook, but still hadn't done anything with it. So fast forward to this week, I had ordered the February kit from Felicity Chain, and since I was already having something shipped to me, I went ahead and ordered the January kit as well. So when I opened up the package and started flipping through all the different January supplies, this picture immediately came to mind, and I was so excited because the colors and everything are perfect for one another. The photo and the supplies. I mean, I just couldn't have I couldn't have created it better if I wanted to. So, I was super excited that it was all going to work together so well. So now my story that I've been holding on to and the photo that I've also been holding on to are actually becoming a page. Okay, so I basically just took my story that I'd already printed out, I folded it up, and I put it underneath my photo. That way, the journal's hidden, and it's not like boom right there on the page, but it's also easy to get to. And then it also helps out because it popped the photo up a little bit, so everything's not so flat. Gave it a little dimension and added texture and all the other fun stuff that just make pages even more lovely. So I love that. And so then I'm just going to go through, I went through all the die cut pieces, pulled out anything that seemed like the right color, went through more of the Project Life cards, and I love using those for little things like corners and things like that. It's a great way to add a small pattern to the page. And if you don't Project Life like me, then you don't have to feel like guilty or anything for either A, not using the card, or, you know, using it for something in which maybe it wasn't intended, because it doesn't matter, it wouldn't get used otherwise. So it's a great way to get those used and um, use up some beautiful supplies in a little bit different of a way. I also I used this little silver brad that did not come with the collection, but actually my youngest does these little engineering kits, and it was left over. I had a whole little baggie of these silver brads left over from one of her little engineering kits, and I was like, heck, I'm not gonna throw those away. I can use those. So look at right here, they're making it onto a page already. So just filling up with little corners here and there and all of the great colors. I love this pink and gray mixed together. It is just adorable. And the fact that it just works so great with the photo. I didn't do any edits to this photo, you guys. Like, she sent it to me. She did all the edits to it. I don't know what filters or whatever she uses in Instagram because I think it just looks so beautiful. But I think her roommate took the picture, and then she did the little edits that she thought looked good on it, and I didn't change a single thing. And I just couldn't have designed it better than this. So adding in things here and there. And then I decide I need a little ink on the back of the page, so I'm using my acrylic inks this is just gray, just to add a little ink here and there. I like how these inks go on. And then I also have a paint pen, and I'm just going to put some on a piece of palette paper, get my brush with a little bit of water in it to make it kind of juicy, and then this beautiful pink will be the perfect kind of complement color to the gray, and it matches all of the great pink that's in this collection. Once that is dry, which is going to take a little bit, I just move it off. I'm going to use some tracing paper and then also some tissue paper from actually the Felicity Jane packaging, to just kind of add a little bit extra dimension underneath these little cards on either side of the photo. I just want them to peek out just a little bit because I don't, for one, I want to have a little extra color or a little extra texture underneath those photos or underneath those cards, but I I just like the way it kind of pops everything off, and so it's not just laying flat on the cardstock behind it. So the photo, see, you can open it up and see the journaling underneath. So I was real careful to make sure that it can still open. Now it did, just so you know, like it seemed like it was a little bit too floppy, the photo. I'd never done it this way before, but the photo seemed a little too floppy. So what I did is the adhesive that I use is permanent if you adhere it when it's wet, but if you let it just dry, it actually becomes a temporary adhesive. So what I did was I just added a little bit of a dot to the inside of the photo so that when it was closed, it wouldn't just like flop when you move the page around. And I do that at the very end. I don't film it, but I did add that at the very end just so, because it just seemed too loose and it was annoying me. So I'm adding the title. The title is Dear Daughter because basically I just want her to read the letter that's behind her photo. So I figured, I know my titles are not overly creative, so don't roast me for that or anything, but I'm really trying to get it so that the whole page works together. Put my little dot 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 in there so that she knows there's more to it than just that. And I always have to add their initial, so I do add her initial too, and I just stick it right on the heart right next to her photo. I did have a little bit of trouble with those chipboard alphas. Some of them, as I tried to peel them off, the adhesive back actually stayed on the plastic, and so then it was just like the chipboard layer, so I ended up having to use some adhesive to keep them down, but it's okay, I don't ever mind. I'd rather the adhesive be really good anyhow, and it, using hot glue or whatever it was that I used on there, at least it kept me from having to stitch down the letters. So I'm just going to keep embellishing my page. These little felt bows are really cute, and I knew I wanted one of those up on the top. And then just adding a few other pieces like the XOXO, and I am going to use one of these dimensional hearts. I love the little vellum thing on the top and how you can pop it up. I just think that's so adorable. So I'm going to add just a little bit of a strip to the top. I thought I was going to do something that I had punched out, but it didn't really work for a longer piece, so I had used those earlier before, and so then I just used that top part in the littler, smaller piece. I'm sorry, I can't even talk. I'm so tired today. I just added a little bit of that what was left of the piece that I had already punched out to the top. See, I'm feeling like it's a little floppy, so I did add that adhesive so it stays down really nice. And y'all, that is it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Here's all the little details, some of the journaling. You guys, if you have any questions at all, please leave them for the comments and I'll be happy to get back with you about those. Otherwise, you can always follow me creatively on Instagram at Corey J Creative. Bye!